The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
The tables will turn someday. These people should recognize that maybe they're not going to get prosecuted today, although we're looking at doing that, but they may get prosecuted after the Trump administration for the things that they did because the statute of limitations won't have run. You know, we had the immigration services, ICE and CBP doing their jobs before the Trump administration, but they were doing it within the law. Now they're acting like a bunch of thugs and taking away people's free speech rights. They're taking away people's rights, by not identifying themselves. They're coming in with masks on. They're coming in with unidentified vehicles. These are all things that need to be taken up, again, by an inspector general or somebody investigating at the federal level because they have immunity at the state level. But we're looking at how we might be able to hold them responsible despite the fact of federal immunity.
That, my friends, J.B. Pritzker, a guy who wants to be president. You see, federal ICE agents are the enemy of Democrats. Plain and simple, and he wants them persecuted. Because how dare these ICE agents actually try to enforce federal law? That's the state of things. While the music plays, Carlos, grab 17 and let's just hear this, which is somewhat related.
Top of the new hour here as we approach it. Breaking right now, as we just mentioned, narco-terrorists in Mexico are reportedly working in coordination with domestic extremist groups to place bounties worth thousands of dollars on the heads of federal immigration officers in Chicago. That is according to DHS, who are now slamming what they are calling an organized campaign of terror against agents just trying to do their jobs. Tricia McLaughlin from DHS will join us with more on all of that in moments.
Yep.
And
so you see the ICE agents under attack from the cartels, under attack from the Democrat Party, working with those activist groups. And who supports the activist groups? The Democrat Party, to try to do as much harm as they can. Welcome, my friends, to the Tuesday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, fastest hour in American media. A lot to go through today. We have Letitia has made some comments. She went to a Big Mom Dummy rally. Barack Obama. Yeah, we'll get to Obama, hopefully. And, of course, the shutdown warnings that the shutdown may be the longest shutdown ever if it continues this way. I think that warning came from Speaker of the House, Mr. Johnson, and so much more. Also, the Supreme Court is taking a look tomorrow, visiting the landmark Voting Rights Act case, and this could change things dramatically with the way that the political structure in the United States is. Also, there is an article today in the Politico, an expose. The headline, I Love Hitler. Leaked messages expose young Republicans. Racist chant. Thousands of private messages reveal young GOP leaders joking about gas chambers, slavery, and rape. Oh, I'm not hiding it. Oh, I'm not going to hide the argument. It's part of the news. I'm going to do it. New York. Leaders of young Republican groups throughout the country worried what would happen if their Telegram chat ever got leaked. I was just told the other day that my Telegram account has been closed. I didn't close it. I got to go, because I don't use Telegram that often. But anyway. But they kept typing anyway. They referred to black people as monkeys and the watermelon people, and mused about putting their political opponents in gas chambers. They talked about raping their enemies and driving them to suicide, and lauded Republicans who they believed support slavery. William Hendricks, the Kansas Young Republicans vice chair, used the words N-GA and N-GUH, variations of a racial slur, variations of the N-word. more than a dozen times in the chat. Bobby Walker, the vice chair of the New York Young Republicans at the time, referred to rape as epic. Peter Giunta, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, Giunta, who at the time was the chair of the same organization, that being the New York State Young Republicans, wrote in a message sent in June that everyone that votes no is going to the gas chamber. Giunta was referring to an upcoming vote on whether he should become chairman of the Young Republicans National Federation, the GOP's 15,000-member political organization for Republicans between 18 and 40 years old. I'm going to create some of the greatest physiological torture methods known to man. We only want true believers, he says. Two of the members, only two, responded. Can we fix the showers? Gas chambers don't fit the Hitler aesthetic. Joe Maligno, who previously identified himself as the general counsel for the New York State Young Republicans, wrote back, I'm ready to watch people burn now. Annie Kakady, New York's National Committee woman, said. These exchanges, part of a trove of Telegram chats obtained by Politico, spanning more than 7 months of messages among young Republican leaders in New York, Kansas, Arizona, and Vermont. The chat offers an unfiltered look at how a new generation of GOP activists talk when they think no one is listening. And anybody, by the way, who actually uses social media and thinks that no one is listening or no one will ever find out what they said, I just have how utterly dumb can you be in this day and age? Politico went through 2,900 pages of chats, and what you already heard is just the beginning of it. It is disgusting. It is deplorable. Some of it anti-Semitic, racist, bigoted, sexist in ways that are, one would expect, better. And of course, what Politico does is try to blame Trump and the North. This is all, the loosening of the culture. Trump, they had a line or two about trying to link to Charlie Kirk. And there's some that say, it was Politico, can't trust Politico. That's beside the point. All of that is beside the point. No, Trump's not involved. No, Charlie Kirk had nothing to do with this. It's Charlie Kirk's birthday, by the way, and people are celebrating his first heavenly birthday today. It has to do with what's in people's hearts and what's in people's brains and who people are. And all the apologies that are being made about some of this stuff, some people have lost jobs already. I guess there will be more. All of that is disgusting. If you happen to be like me, all my life I spend dealing with liberal friends of mine in my political life who keep telling me how racist Republicans are, how racist people are. Always, And of course, that goes on and on with Trump. You see it. It has gone on and on with Charlie. Every Republican, period, every Republican president has faced this anytime there's policy that affects the Democrat Party scheme of coalitions and how to use power. And there's more of that. Obama delved into that. We're going to get into that in a little while. But anytime you're up, your whole life you spend defending and conservatives, when they attack conservatives, some of these people mentioned in this article describe themselves as conservative. And if they are conservatives, I don't want to be anywhere near that brand of conservatism. It's beyond disgusting. Democrats, of course, the party of institutional racism. But the thing is, hate, ugliness, ignorance, bigoted behavior does not belong to one political party. You will find strains of it across many different social strata. I also happen to know some New York young members of the New York Young Republicans Club. And they are so decent. They're such decent human beings. And I'm sorry that their group is now being smeared by this miscreant behavior, by what was miscreant behavior. And that goes to the same with all of these other young activist Republicans who have good hearts, good souls, who want to see what's best for America, who don't hate people, who are not bigoted, who are not hateful. And it's just a shame that all the good work that they do and what they're trying to do to help save this country is now going to be smeared somewhat. It won't be deterred, but it will be smeared, but they will be smeared with a broad brush because of the actions of these low-level, wannabe, important political activists who apparently were never raised properly or either have forgotten the good raising that their parents gave them and don't know how to act on social media, even though we've had 20, 30 years of people being exposed on social media and in social media for remarks that they should have never felt comfortable to broadcast in the first place, anywhere in public, or share. If that sort of hatred and ugliness is in your own heart. It is disgusting. And I am disgusted by them, and I hope these people that are mentioned in this article, if it is proven that they indeed said what they said, I hope they never find a place in American politics again. So, that. Looking at the clock, let's take a break because I want to get into Letitia and Obama and some of the other things that are in the news. If we have time, I want to talk about this Supreme Court case too, folks, because this is it's race-centered, and I hope the Supreme Court does the right thing here. James Golden, Snerdley with you. But we do have a sad note for all of you music fans, and sadly, we didn't have anything in the library, and I'm shocked. D'Angelo passed away. Today was announced. I'm just so heartbroken over that. D'Angelo's Brown Sugar record back in 1995 just blew him up. What a great, great artist D'Angelo was. That first album of his went platinum. Voodoo, released in 2000, won a Grammy. Black Messiah, his third album, won a Grammy. And he's collaborated with some of the big ones. Lauryn Hill, Erykah Badu, Mr. Z, Jay-Z. So 51 years old. He passed away of cancer. So our condolences to the family of D'Angelo and to all the many millions of D'Angelo fans on his passing.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we dispense with playing music coming back because I want to get to this. She has spoken. She has spoken. And this is what she said.
You see, I know what it feels like to be attacked for just doing your job.
Your job.
But I also know what it feels like to overcome adversity. And so I stand on solid rock.
I stand on solid rock.
And I will not bow. I will not break. I will not bend. I will not capitulate. I will not give in. I will not give up.
I will not give up. I will not give up. I know what it's like to do your job and to be hounded. I will not break.
You come for me, you gotta come to all of us.
You gotta come to all of us. You gotta come for all of us.
All of us.
All of us.
Every single one of us. We're all in it together.
If you come for me, you gotta come for all of us. You gotta come for all of us. All of us. And I will not bend. I will not break. I will not do anything that I can, because I know what it's like to be attacked. Woman. I want to be back in the 60s. I want to pretend that I'm a great a preacher. I'm a Letitia. And, of course, then we have to hear yesterday. You know, it was on 2 days ago, whenever. That show, that Sunday show that nobody watches anymore on ABC. This guy.
We know why this was done. It was done because Donald Trump told the Justice Department to prosecute Letitia James. And when the professionals there wouldn't do it, he put somebody in who would just follow his instruction, whose previous job was reviewing exhibits at the Smithsonian. So that's what we see going on here. And here's the difference between Trump 2 and Trump 1. And I'll say it more directly than Sarah did. This is no longer, the Department of Justice is no longer the premier prosecuting office in America. What it is now is a capo regime who goes out and executes hits when directed by the Don to do so. That's what it is.
Boy, Chris Christie. Chris Christie. I don't even want to. I have no words for Chris Christie anymore because he's so irrelevant. We'll be back. Don't go away.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Let's check in with Dana Bash and Hakeem Jeffries.
Meetings, no discussions. Donald Trump has held them back from even having a meaningful engagement to try to find
You're
common
right down
ground.
the hall from Mike Johnson's office. I know exactly where you are. You could probably take a few steps and go knock on the door and talk to him.
Oops.
Have you tried that?
Speaker Johnson hasn't been given permission to have a conversation with me or Leader Schumer, and he said as much earlier today.
So you don't think he would talk to you at all?
We can have a conversation, but the problem is that until they get the green light to actually have a meaningful discussion to try to find common ground and a bipartisan path forward and a willingness to address the damage that Republicans have done to the health, the safety, and the economic well-being of the American people, then of course any informal discussion is going to be not fruitful.
In other words, he got nothing. And no, he can't walk down. Great point, Dana. Your office is right now. Just walk down the hall and talk to him. Letitia.
You see, I know what it feels like to be attacked. For just
I know what
doing
it feels
your
like to
job.
be attacked.
But
That's
I also
right.
know what it feels like to overcome adversity.
I know what it feels like to be
And so I
constipated
stand on solid
for
rock.
5 days and to have to come out and speak. And that's
I
why
will
my
not
friends,
bow.
I will not
break.
bend because I can't. I will not bow because I can't.
I will not give in.
I will not give in because I got to go and I can't go. It's just so hard to go when you're all backed up with your own stuff and I can't go.
You come for me, you gotta come to all of us.
I'm about to maybe go in front of all of us and it's not pleasant. All of us are gonna not like it. It's just terrible. Together. I so badly want to see myself up with a statue someday. I'm in so much pain because I haven't gone to the bathroom. And I need to go to the bathroom. I will not bend. I will not give in. I will not give it up. Ever. Letitia James. Okay, Barack Obama next, since we're talking about, oops, don't say it. Lord Obama, I'm sorry, I didn't call him by his right appellation. Lord Obama, most merciful, praise be his name, has some remarks about where we are as a country.
The point is that we have blown through, just in the last 6 months, a whole range of not simply assumptions, but rules and laws and practices.
And practices
that were put in place to ensure that
get to it.
Nobody's above the law, and that we don't use the federal government to simply reward our friends and punish our enemies. And the same thing's obviously happening in the Justice Department. So people are right to be concerned. The interesting thing, and what I've been trying to do when I've been speaking about this publicly is just to remind folks, just as was true during the McCarthy era and has been true throughout our history, what's required in these situations is a few folks standing up and giving courage to other folks, and then more people stand up and kind of go like, no, that's not who we are. That's not our idea of America.
That's not who we are.
That's not
who we are.
Masked.
People have been blown through the rules. We don't use government to punish our enemies and reward our friends. Okay, I have one answer for Barack Obama. We don't use government to reward our friends, punish our enemies. Let's go to Representative Holbrook of Illinois, cut 11. Here's an answer to you, Obama.
107th District, Shelbyville. Today we're turning our attention to a staggering amount of taxpayer money, over $1 billion, that's being funneled into political connected non-government organizations or NGOs. This wasn't uncovered by government watchdogs, but concerned Illinoisans and Republican legislators that our grassroots effort we call DOGE, or the Department of Government Efficiency. Before we show you where the money's going, we need to ask one simple question. Why is government funding NGOs at all? First, there's no transparency. NGOs aren't subject to the Freedom of Information Act or FOIA. Taxpayers can't see how their money is being spent. Just last week, a lawsuit was filed because the state refused to release a contract detailing how much public money was being sent to specific groups. Second, the budget language is vague and on purpose. These grants are buried under broad terms with little or no detail. Lawmakers are being asked to approve funding without knowing how the money will be used or even who's getting it. Third, the human services budget has been hijacked. It used to mean helping seniors, helping single mothers, and people with disabilities. Now it's packed with programs for politically aligned groups offering vague services like parent mentoring, immigrant support, LGBTQ advocacy, and many are race or identity-based initiatives that serve political agendas, not real need. Fourth, this spending undermines real charity. Faith-based groups and private charities.
Let me just do this. All right, you see, Obama complains about, we've blown through a whole range of laws and practices that are part of Democrats have been blowing through the American taxpayers' dollars for decades. They have built institutions using these NGOs that reward their friends and punish their enemies. Democrats under Obama used the Justice Department and every weapon at their disposal to go after Donald Trump, including spying on American people. So I really don't want to hear Obama trying to sound all professorial now. We've blown through law. Democrats have been blowing through laws and making laws to increase their own power for decades. Donald Trump's putting a stop to it. That's why they hate him. Speaking of the president, and I'm not going to spend that much time with Obama. Just not worth it. A guy who pretended to be president. Let's go to cut 12 really quickly. I'm not going to play the whole thing because he goes on and on and on and on.
It's a mighty battle going on.
His name is
It's
Martin
not about
Sheen.
winning or losing. It's about being in touch with your own personal humanity, because there's such a lack of it coming from this administration. And I'm convinced of this.
Yay! Martin Sheen! Is it Charlie son?
When you look at this group of people at the round table in the White House, the cabinet room, every one of those people look across the table and they do not see anyone who is better than they are. They generally see a reflection of their worth selves. So there's no heroes in there. There's no music. There's no laughter. There's no self-effacement. There's no joy in that room. It smells of ego and fear and false worship.
You know what this smells to me like? It smells like a Hollywood actor who used to play president who just still thinks that maybe that's his greatest role and that gives him some kind of one-up on everybody to decide who's a great president. But nobody cared about your fake presidency on a fictional TV show, except you liberals used to pretend it's real, and you can't get over it. Whatever your name was then, Jedi-O or Jedi-O or whoever you was, who pretended, by the way, to be almost conservative in some things, which liberals never did, and he just can't get over it. You're jealous, pal. We got a real president now who's getting things done. And so all you got to do is go on with all this fancy script about how there's a smell of ego, fear, and false worship. Ego? Look in the mirror. Your whole life is ego. Pretending to be somebody else. And great job you did, pal, with, the offspring there. Ego. Okay. Not that any of us can, that's not, I withdraw that last remark. Not fair. We can't help what happens. Okay, where are we? Oh, speaking of Obama, Kennedy, Senator Kennedy, great. This guy gives you some great soundbite once in a while. Anyway, Cut 5, Senator John Kennedy on the Obama part of the equation that the Democrats are shutting down the government for. Here's Senator John Kennedy.
We understand the stakes. There are 24 million people on Obamacare who are receiving the extra subsidies. The Democrats started these things.
Well, it's an emergency.
They said it was for the pandemic. Well, the pandemic ended 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And of the 24 people on the Obamacare exchanges, 1.6 are getting the extra subsidies. Yeah. And what Biden did was take the cap off. Used to be you only qualified for the exchanges for Obamacare if you were a family for making no more than $130,000 a year. Well, now we've got families making $600,000 a year.
They get the subsidy.
And they get the subsidy.
Yeah. It's almost like the Affordable Care Act is not affordable.
No, that's Josh, you nailed it. That's the real issue. The subsidies, don't misunderstand me, are an issue. But the real point from 35,000 feet is Obamacare exchanges are broken.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, they were supposed to make insurance cheaper and more accessible.
Yes.
It's done neither.
Yeah.
And it's so bad that people will not buy the exchanges unless the federal government pays them to. Yeah. It was just like electric cars. I never could understand. They said electric cars are swell. And I'd always think, well, electric cars are so swell, how come you have to pay people to buy them? and Obamacare is the same way. It sucks so much that people say, we will not buy it unless you give us the money.
Okay. Now, I have some stuff I'm going to hold till tomorrow, folks. And I say that knowing that tomorrow's news may make that. This Supreme Court case is going to go on tomorrow and with a Louisiana case. This is important, folks. I don't want to just rush this into 2 minutes here. So I'm going to put those stories aside till tomorrow, since the case will be argued in front of the courts tomorrow. Yesterday, I played a soundbite, and I want to comment on it one more time because America's Small Caffeinated Mom has been texting me about this soundbite, and it had the same kind of impact that I have. I have been hearing Democrats and all these people, Jay Pritzker and Brandon Johnson, and all these people complaining about what President Trump has done in sending troops to these Democrat cities that are horrible with crime. And I just want you to listen one more time to this woman, that's cut 23, Carlos, yesterday. And just please listen to her. You cannot imagine what life is like for a lot of people in these cities. This woman is giving you a window in.
Some of y'all might get mad at me. And at this point, I don't give a damn. I'm not into politics. I'm not into all of that extra stuff that people be losing their life over. I ain't into all that. We human. Whatever. But I will say thank you to Trump for bringing these National Guards and doing what they doing down here in Memphis right now. You know, for the first time in 5 years. I've been in my home for 5 years. And for the first time, my kids have been able to play in the backyard and be able to do it comfortably. I haven't heard a gunshot in 2 weeks. I haven't seen strange people walk up and down the street. Just a few weeks ago, I had somebody walk on the side of my house. None of that action's going on. I haven't seen no young YNs at the store posted. I haven't seen an Infinity fly past me in weeks. I'm sitting on my porch right now, and I'm watching kids outside playing. People outside walking with their kids, stuff I ain't never seen before living in my neighborhood. But all because we feel safe in this environment, unfortunately, because of the things that are happening here in the city. I hate it had to be this way, but I'm happy. I'm happy. Honestly, I truly feel that this is just a band-aid to the problem. I don't think this is going to completely fix everything. But to have a moment of peace, just thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus, she says. But she also thanked Donald Trump. For the first time in 5 years, ever since I've been in this house, my kids haven't been able to play. They're playing in their own yard. People walking with their kids on the street. I've never seen that before, she said. In 5 years I've lived in this neighborhood. Democrats didn't care. And what Rhonda sent me, she said that clip you played, mother rejoicing that her kids can finally play outside, that one got me. Holy cow. How can anyone with even the smallest, most shriveled heart not want this for all children? Liberals who protest and riot against law enforcement will never make me believe they care about kids or really about anything good or wholesome. Amen to that.
The Rush Hour with James Golden on the Red Apple Podcast Network. The Rush Hour with James Golden. Entertaining and informative on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
So in 1969, on this day, the Supremes released this one. It was their last top #1 single, an even dozen for the Supremes. Diana Ross and the Supremes was released, although the Supremes didn't really sing background on this. Mary Wilson, Cindy Birdsong didn't sing on the recording. That's some other background people. But it was right before Diana Ross went solo. And so they used it to market the last as the Supremes. Someday we'll be together. And on that note, I have to go. May God bless and protect each and every single one of you, your families and loved ones. Love and gratitude, my friends, always for you being here with me, allowing me to be with you. God willing, we will be back tomorrow for the Wednesday edition of Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour, fastest hour in American media. Until then, my friends, I bid you adieu. Bye.
Thanks for listening to Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour. You can hear Bo Snerdley's Rush Hour weekdays at 4 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social, on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
The following is a paid political announcement.
Lifelong Democrat Diana Florence served for 25 years as a Manhattan prosecutor under DA Robert Morgenthau. She put criminals away, stood up for victims, and protected our streets. Now, Diana is challenging failed Manhattan DA Alvin Bragg as an independent because it's time for a DA who fights for our families, not criminals. That's why Diana has won the support of organized labor, like the steam fitters, plumbers, and ironworkers, everyday New Yorkers who want a DA they can trust. Manhattan needs a DA who will do the job, prosecute crime. That's Diana Florence. Under Alvin Bragg, crime is up and prosecutions are down. Bragg doesn't prosecute crime. He plays partisan politics. Bragg failed to protect women and failed to protect workers. As a prosecutor, Diana Florence won groundbreaking convictions, fighting against corruption, domestic violence, wage theft, and daily working conditions. She's always been a partner of unions, community groups, and to cops like us. For Manhattan District Attorney, vote for Diana Florence. Diana4DA.com. Paid for by Diana for Manhattan DA.